Let's clear and ground the energies. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hello and welcome to ArcanaUniverse. This is going to be what blessings will be coming for you this summer. Let's get started. So if you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But this is going to be a all signs reading. So what that means is I'm going to be going through Aries through Pisces, but we'll do an opening message just to, just get a preview, a message of what you need to know at this time, okay? And as a friendly reminder, this is a general reading, so only take what resonates. We do have cross watchers, so rules can be reversed, but you will know if this is your story and which side you're on. Okay. So right off the bat, I'm getting this message of when it comes to what's coming ahead this summer, somebody here needs to be very mindful of who they let in, okay? I see here that there was some sort of supportive energy. However, they're being blocked off. They're are not being given the opportunity to come forward or spend time with one another. And the reason why there is some level of a quiet period, very like stagnant, it's not open energy. And the reason for that is because somebody here was being dishonest. There was some level of truth that came forward, and somebody here really got to see the true colors of an individual that they were dealing with. Hello, Pastel. So as we progress, into the summer months, what I see here that there's going to be an opportunity to come together, but in a family setting, okay? Hello, Mr. Biker. Okay, so the truth that came to light, I see here somebody got betrayed and lied to, and so there was some level of a heartbreak. So that is the reason for why this connection had to have a quiet period, space, time apart, because somebody here really needed to reflect and heal and see the situation for what it truly was. Okay, I do sense here that there were some level of happy times. Somebody here was like a very great support system for this individual. But again, somebody here had deceptive ways, patterns, whether that is through lying, cheating, stealing. And also this person had a tendency to invite third parties into the mix, whether that is other romantic prospects or friends and family members that had a tendency to meddle and like throw in their own 2 cents to the matter. But regardless, somebody wasn't loyal. They didn't choose the connection, and so hence the separation. And so, but what I'm getting here is that this energy, they're still interested, okay? The person that did the betraying and stuff, they're still interested. However, they have a very strong immature energy about them, okay? And so it's like they don't hold themselves accountable, they're not responsible, and it's funny because they're dealing with somebody who's the complete opposite, somebody who is responsible, grounded, and gives off a very selfless vibe. So imagine one side is selfish, other side is selfless. And so And as a result, there can be a tendency for some level of manipulation and being taken for granted and taken um, for for advantage. Okay, and so why is this energy coming up? So this energy, they want to talk. Okay, the person that did the betraying and the manipulative actions, they want to talk because they feel like their life isn't progressing, it isn't abundant and joyous as it once used to be. They feel like they have lost their rock, their support system, and they're very in their heads and stressed about the fact that this connection has become stagnant. So even though this manipulative energy, they know that they did this other person dirty. They know, but they won't admit it. They won't be accountable. They're very stubborn and hard headed. And so even though they were in the wrong, they act like they didn't do anything wrong. Imagine, okay. And so the person that they're dealing with, they're just like, what is this person on, like? And so clearly there is definitely this level of separation and distance because the person who is very grounded and mature, they understand that this energy, the more they let them have access to them, the more their guard needs to come up because they want to protect themselves. They don't feel safe around this energy. And so the person that wants to come back, they're keeping their eyes and ears open and peeled and trying to see the situation and see if the other person is still upset, is still angry, or what any, like, if they have ill feelings towards them. Well, do they? Do they? Well, their outlook, their perspective hasn't changed. They're still holding a very healthy boundaries. Okay? And whoever is going to come forward, they want somebody to match that, somebody who has self-respect and who treats other people fairly. And because at the end of the day, they want a connection that is reciprocal. Like, why be in a partnership or a relationship or any kind of connection if it's not going to be reciprocal, where respect and healthy standards and boundaries are upheld? And so unless that is the case, unless the other person is has matured, is willing to admit fault, right their wrongs, until that happens, they don't want anything to do with this energy. They will be rejected if they come in with the same tactics, manipulation, lying, immaturity. If they continue to come forward and still be in that energy, they will be rejected. Okay? I mean, don't get me wrong, they're still very nice. They're very nice, but they're very protective. Very protective of themselves. Uh okay. Yeah. So the person that wants to come back, the thing about them is they haven't changed. Okay, they haven't changed. They're still up to their tricks and schemes, and but it's like having their cake and eating it too. That kind of energy. So um, they don't want to change, but they still want the person that they don't have access to. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear and do Aries. Okay. Aries, 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 Aries. So whether you are an Aries sun, moon, rising, Venus, stellium, dealing with the Aries, it doesn't quite matter. You know, labels aside, I read energy. So if you're listening in, there may be a message here for you, okay? Oh, looky, looky, your energy coming through. So for Aries, they have a lot of uncertainty around them because, due to the uncertainty, they can't charge forward and go after what they want because they're not sure. Something about they're not sure if the feelings are reciprocal or the feelings are the same, and so they're trying to kind of go within and see, is there mutual attraction? Like, because the last thing this energy wants is to waste their time. Okay, I see here that they're very defensive, okay, and stubborn. I'm getting somebody who is defensive and stubborn, and with that combination, that can be very tricky. Like, they have a very hard time opening up. But I will say, the thing about this energy is they don't want to hold on to anything toxic. They just want to keep moving forward, start something new, and the only thing they truly want is honesty. Okay, and I see here that there's some sort of like time apart that needed to be had, but which has been a blessing because they got to focus on more on their work. And so that's good. Any other, what's like the major blessings coming this summer, okay, for them? Well, there's your energy, right? Ooh, 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 ooh. What is this? Okay, so there's somebody from like it's giving past energy. Whether this is like past lives or you have some level of history with them or like you know of them, like that kind of energy. But they feel very familiar. And I see here there might be like a rekindling. Rekindling. Because I see here there is still some level of attraction, and the only thing, like, I do see here there was respect, okay? There was some level of respect, and that's the reason why that this connection might have a second chance or a possible reconnection, because the root of their connection was at least built upon respect, okay? It was like it was always cordial or friendly or just mindful of being respectful and polite. And so when we have that kind of foundation to start, that's a good sign. And I see here somebody here is very attractive, and so that's kind of like the cherry on top. It's just like, oh, we get to like spend time together, and I do sense chemistry here. Okay, so advice. Any advice for this? There's something about, okay, I see here somebody is the baby of the family, or somebody is like they get babied by family, something like that. And so it's saying how you're treated by your family members and how you're treated by your friends or your lover. Don't expect it to be the same. Okay, so I'm getting like somebody here has a tendency to be spoiled by their family members or what have you, their mom or their dad or a family member. And so they have a tendency to be spoiled by them, and the advice here is like, you're not trying to date a family member, okay? Like, somebody here has this thing mixed up where it's just like, oh, you know, if hi Tanisa, hi. Thank you for the Cash App donation. I appreciate it. Aww, I appreciate that. And so just remember, okay? The somebody here is confused. It's like you're not dating a family member, okay? If somebody here is interested in dating somebody, they gotta realize that they gotta step it up. You know, they're not gonna cater hand and foot, and to them, they want somebody that is going to be a partner. Okay, partner. They're not gonna wash your dishes, do your laundry, you know, baby you, and like and and cater to you. No, they're looking for somebody who is able to reciprocate and do the same. So if anything, learn from how, you know, how family members or people that this energy may consider like family have treated this connection. So it's just like that's the loving kind of energy that this other person needs to embody and try to give back as well, okay, instead of just receiving. Hello, Ahmed. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to Taurus. All right, Taurus. All right, whoa, Taurus, whoa. Aw, so I'm seeing here there's some sort of like breakup energy or like betrayal energy that I'm picking up. And the reason for this is because somebody jumped into a connection or entertained an idea of a connection because there was a lot of attraction and sexual chemistry and all of that. But the thing about that is, as quickly as it comes in, as quickly it may fizzle out, okay? And so it's like somebody here has a tendency to get bored very easily, or they love to like distract themselves with like the next, you know, new thing, even though it may be short term or they're not even looking at it in a long term kind of energy. But somebody here is very toxic. And so what I see here is that I'm getting a very spiritual energy. The person who's dealing with this very like toxic energy, they have a tendency to be a very spiritual person. And so when they recognize and see these red flags, they retreat, they hold back, and the wall starts coming up because they they are not going to tolerate this kind of behavior. And so I see a lot of like silence, retreat, going within, time to oneself, so that they can really internalize and see what happened here. Where did the manipulation start? Okay? So, what is like the blessings coming? Okay, the blessings coming is there's going to be a support system. Okay, you're not a whoever is in this energy. They're not alone. Okay, there's a support system. There are people who has been in similar boats as this individual, who have experienced these lying, cheating, like scam artists. Okay, and so it's almost like they're going to be banding together so that this person doesn't do that anymore. They're going to expose this person. Mm. And when they do that, I see like when they eliminate this toxic energy, they're going to be creating more space to invite more love into their life. So I see this energy of somebody being very like single and just thriving and doing their thing, and they're going to catch somebody's attention. And I will say, even though they have romance on their mind, they are going to kind of move slow and act like they're not. I don't want to say that they're not interested, but they kind of give off this energy like they're not ready. And the reason why is because they have like low self esteem or finance challenges where they feel like, oh, maybe they, compared to this other energy who may be thriving, they just feel like they don't make as much or isn't able to reciprocate. And so, but at least the thing about them is that they at least try. They're hardworking. Somebody here is very hardworking and focused. And that's what this energy likes. Like, at least they're not out distracting themselves. But I will say they have a tendency to hide their feelings because they don't want to be vulnerable. Okay, so I do sense here, like, as soon as the toxic energy leaves and they're put into place, so to speak, a new love is going to come in. But as mentioned, their finances or some sort of self-worth, it needs a little work. But it's not to deny that they don't, like, they do want this. They do want this. What's the advice? For those of you who are, somebody here needs to, if they were like either married or was in a commitment, but they still have like, either they share assets or they live in the same place or what have you, whatever it is, that needs to wrap up. Like, imagine, you know, I'm getting like this imagery of like a person with 2 feet and like two doorways. It's just like, what's happening, you know? So how are you able to start something new if somebody here is either still married or still living with their ex or whatever it is? Okay, that needs to wrap up. We can't invite something new if the past is still lingering. How are you able to have a fresh new start? So that is the advice and the focus. Okay, all right, Geminis. All right, Geminis. So for Geminis, I see here there was love, but it was rejected. Okay, it was rejected, and there was some level of an ending. Like, things couldn't go back to the way things were. There were a lot of energies, other energies in the mix, and I see here somebody, they could have either still have been married or still connected to their past, like that kind of energy. And because that didn't happen, it couldn't progress. It couldn't progress. And so I'm seeing here somebody is still holding on to this energy because they don't have enough money. That's one of the reasons why there is not a full severing of ties. And this is clearly an issue for whoever has been dealing with this energy, because it is such a burden. Because for them, it's very clear to them that if somebody wants to start a new connection, then they need to wrap up whatever it is in the past. But I see here somebody is still holding on to their past due to like financial issues, or like maybe they don't even have a place to move out to, or whatever it is. Like, And there's just a lot of burdens. So what is the blessings coming this summer? There's going to be a talk or an opportunity to discuss whether or not somebody here wants to be in a higher level commitment, either to work it out or keep it stagnant and not making a decision. Okay, so there's going to be an opportunity to make a decision. I kept getting gold digger, gold digger. Okay, so somebody here is only staying in a connection for money, for reciprocation, like for a one-sided connection. And so perhaps, you know, they don't have to pay bills, or they have a place to stay or live in. And so the blessing here is, if somebody here is resonating with what I'm saying, okay, this is your wake up call. Okay, if you feel like you're being used, the other person is not pulling their weight, and they're doing all of these shady things and not being loyal, and all they have been, you know, they've been cared for. Okay, they've been cared for, and they couldn't even give a simple thing like loyalty and respect back. And so the blessing here is somebody is going to see the truth of the matter, and they will have the opportunity to reject this connection that has rejected them, in a sense. Okay, because the other person, they had an opportunity to come correct, but they didn't. And instead they were spoiled. Okay, somebody here was spoiled, um, and they thought that they had options. And so somebody here is going to have the opportunity to take their power back, stand their ground, and not let this energy just have their way, is what I'm seeing here. What's the advice? The person that is still wants to be spoiled and still is trying to milk all the blessings, even though they may not have done any work to attain all this. The advice here is, if they really want a second chance, or they really want to keep this connection, they need to start being a little bit more independent, or is at least contribute in some way. And it's saying, like, stop. Somebody here is being, I'm getting the word bitch. Okay, somebody here is being a bitch. Like, they're ungrateful. Okay, they're ungrateful. So until they start being grateful, until they are, you know, contributing in some shape or form, like, at least try, you know? The advice here is, it's good to create some level of space and distance until, so that they are given the opportunity to address this. But if you see that even after being given the space and opportunity to make changes in their life, and they're not doing it, red flag, red flag. Okay, so somebody here needs to be really confident in themselves to know that they deserve better treatment, better people, you know, better. They deserve better. Okay? All right, Cancers. I'm getting like, so somebody here is this. I'm getting like a triangle. Okay, so this may be like a love triangle or something like that. Somebody may be stuck in a connection where they're involved with somebody who's very mean and cutthroat. And so, like, they want to leave that situation so bad because they already have eyes on somebody that, like, they adore, admire, and they're actually kind. They're very sweet and nice, and so even though they may be with that mean person, their heart belongs to somebody else. And so somebody here is stuck. They're stuck in a connection where they're unhappy. And so they are opening themselves up to other possibilities, and they're looking around to see if there can be a possibility. It's like somebody here has an exit plan, okay, or at least they're trying to form one, okay. They're just like, they're not happy. They are not happy. Okay, I'm getting this person who's not happy. They have this strong intuitive push from the universe. Like, they know. It's like they can't stop thinking about this very like loving person, very grounded, loving person. They can't stop thinking about him. It's almost to the point it's like an obsession, okay? And it's because they feel like they're meant to end up with them. There's this like destined energy. And so it's like they're already envisioning like marrying this person and walking down the aisle, like that kind of like dream. This is what they're dreaming about. Okay, what's the blessings coming in? So after being on the fence and limbo for a very long time, somebody here is going to want to communicate. Okay, there's going to be some level of communication that is going to be had. And the person who is of worth and value, the thing about them is like when they're approached, like somebody here needs to really be on their best behavior, like best, like because this is the type of person, if they see any red flags, they're not going to take this connection seriously. And so if somebody here is looking for a serious connection, relationship, marriage, then they need to start being serious, okay? Like, not like, don't. And what I mean by serious is like, don't play games. Don't try to act like, but I'm getting buying time. Like, don't buy time. It's just like, be direct, straightforward. Anything else? And it's saying, don't, definitely, this is a warning, okay? Definitely do not start the new connection if you're still in the old one. If you're still involved with them some shape or form, you know, whether you live with them, you talk to them, if there is like communication, consistent communication, or and keeping in touch, keeping in contact, and not fully wrapping up that cycle before starting the new one, there's not going to be a start. Okay? So it's free will. It's free will. Okay, let me just give you an advice. I mean, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear. The message is the is what I literally just described. Don't start a new connection if you're still in the old one. Okay, the third party energies needs to go. A strong relationship and connection can never start when there is a faulty, foundation with holes of dishonesty and like one foot in one door and another foot and another door. Like, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So it's like somebody here needs to be emotionally disciplined and not just give in and do whatever they want. They need to lead with purpose, okay, instead of being like unsure of what's going to happen and yeah, take the connection seriously, right? All right, Leos. What do we have for Leos? Leos. Oh. I'm getting a messy energy, okay? Already pretty messy. Yeah. Ooh. 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 Oh, so I see here this summer is going to be a very quiet time. A very quiet time. And the great thing, and because the reason for the very quiet time is because there is this like death and rebirth kind of energy. Somebody here is shedding the ego, really finding who they are. Because I'm sensing here somebody here wasn't happy with how things were, where things were headed, where things were, going. Like, and I'm getting this like somebody here doesn't want to be who they used to be. Like, they want a fresh new beginning. They're disgusted by who they were, the types of behavior that this energy was doing and living in. They were living in some level of denial, and I see here there was some level of divine intervention. I see here that God really like stepped in. Somebody here really decided to walk in a spiritual path, and they realized that they were being surrounded by people, places, or things, mindset, etc., where it wasn't serving them for their highest good. And so I'm getting here somebody is cutting all of those things off. It's like somebody here is really taking this and their spiritual journey seriously. So if they have connected with, people, places, or things that has been toxic, that was fake and shallow and all of that, they don't want that in their life. They just only want people, places, or things that is of high frequency, of value, who can last the test of time. And so even though this transitional period is going to be hard, challenging, because this it's almost like somebody here is trying to break a lifelong habit or circumstance. Okay, it's like they don't like how they were living, and so they're trying to turn things around. So what's like the blessing? Yeah, this energy is shedding their lying, deceptive, cheating, stealing, like that kind of energy, low vibrational energy. Somebody here is really going to try their best to resist the like temptation to manipulate. So I'm getting somebody here who has been a liar, manipulator, like their entire life. Like they'll say and do whatever it takes to get what they want or make them look good or like uphold their reputation, but in reality is that's not who they are. They're pretending to be somebody they're not. And so the blessing here is somebody here is going to really have like this wake up moment to see things in a different perspective, and the ability and strength. Somebody here is really going to fight for themselves because they don't like who they have to become, and how they treat others. They don't like how they stand in this world. Okay, and so they're really going to fight off those inner demons and try to find the light, trying to connect with God, and because they had a glimpse of true abundance, positivity, joy, happiness. They had a glimpse of it, and now all they can do and think about is trying to get that back, trying to be in that feeling again. And they understand that by continuing to be somebody that they're not, being this deceptive person, that the further away they are going to be from that happiness. And so they're really trying very hard to not fall back into their deceptive ways, because they're being motivated and inspired to live and be the best version of themselves. Okay, what's the advice? So I'm picking up on, some there's this very like attractive individual, or like this person who is being inspired. The person that they're connecting with, they're very attractive, or they have a way of pulling out their passion and being inspired. And so even though there is some level of distance between these two connections, I see here there are still very fond memories or care that was shared, and so that is what is keeping them going. And as much as the person that has been living a double life, so to speak, as much as they want to come charging forward, it's saying the advice here is, if they haven't fully healed, if they're still up to old tricks, even if like let's say they have five bad habits, they eliminated only three, but they still have two. Like, no, it needs to be a full change. And so unless that happens, there is going to be a time apart, because intuitively the soul knows that they don't want to hurt the other individual. And so, and also the other individual doesn't want to be hurt. And so there's going to be this healthy boundary that is created until this person is fully healed. And I see that it's not going to be an overnight thing. This person needs time. Okay. So Virgos. So for Virgos, so somebody here had this dream. Okay, they had a dream. They wanted to, find somebody, like they wanted to find true love so that they can, get married or be in a higher level of commitment and have a family of their own, or somebody to call their own, and to be in a partnership. Okay, this was their dream. This is something that they have envisioned, and so they had a tendency to love and give with an open heart. They had a tendency to put their heart on the line and gave it all they got, because They were just very generous and loving and operating from that space. But when they realized that the person that they were dealing with, they pretended to want the same thing. Okay, they were like, oh yeah, I want that too. Oh yeah, that's I'm totally on the same page. But in reality, that wasn't the case. Okay. It's like somebody here was, like somebody here knew that they couldn't offer that. It's like because they knew that would take a lot of work. Okay, so somebody here, you know, let's just say, even if they didn't want the same things, all of that sounds so wonderful, finding somebody to love and to hold through the thick and thin and all of that. Yeah, that sounds great, but they weren't willing to put in the work. That's the thing. And so somebody didn't go all in. And God wants to say, don't give up on that dream just because this dream, under this current, energy of like the other person not willing to do the work. It's like we have to be very mindful of who we decide to be with, right? And after all of this, like somebody's mask was revealed, the truth came to light. And so even after all of this, it's like somebody still wants something long term with this particular individual, the one that doesn't put in the work. That's kind of living in a fantasy, right? And so it's saying, just because that dream with them is not going to happen under the circumstances, that doesn't mean somebody should give up on the dream. Okay, they need to be a little bit more like, because I do sense here there's commitment coming, like higher level of commitment. Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there. Obviously, it's not gonna resonate for everyone, but for a small few of you, let me know if this happens. Okay, but this summer, I see here somebody might get proposed to, or even married, or something like that. And I asked, is it a past person or is it a new person, right? And it says neither, okay? It's actually somebody that there may not be a lot of history with. So what that tells me is it's kind of giving off secret admirer kind of energy. So oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, okay, let's move on to the blessings. You guys do realize, feel free to check out the playlist portion of this channel where I post all the readings from the tarot today's, monthly and yearly. So this is just a quick glimpse of the blessings and stuff coming towards you guys. But if you want like more details and stuff like that, feel free to check out those videos as well. Okay. Okay. So what is the blessings coming in? Yeah. strong Cancerian energy, or somebody with uh, strong water placements. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, and their Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus, Stellium, what have you. Okay, it's not gender specific. Not gender specific. It's not. It's not. Yeah, it isn't gender specific, but it isn't always sign specific either, because I tap into the energies. Okay, but regardless of the sign, somebody here is very like love driven, and it's not the fleeting kind. They're actually going to last the test of time, and they're going to like build and take things seriously. And I see here there's a lot of like sexual and physical chemistry, so I see like sparks, fireworks. You guys might even spend 4th of July together. But just remember, if there are any loose ends, make sure that is tied. Okay, feel free to check out the Cancer portion. I tapped into that energy. Something about like if somebody is still connected to something, that needs to be completely done in order for this connection to thrive. Okay, because if somebody here is still holding any third party energies, this is not gonna work. It's not gonna work. It's a guarantee. It's not gonna work. Okay, so advice. Hello, Athana. Hi. Okay, so the advice here is, hello, Stevens. No, but I like your politeness. I do like your politeness. I like that. Okay, but as the title shows, this is a all signs reading where we tap into. Well, we started out with the opening and then Aries through Pisces, and we're going to wrap it up with the closing reading, okay? And so, even though it may feel like a personal reading, because I'm great at what I do, this is technically a collective, like general reading. But if you're interested in connecting with me outside of this platform, all of that information can be found in the description of this video. And so, yes, let's continue. So the advice for this is that, as mentioned, if there is any like self-sabotaging behaviors, that needs to go and be healed. And I'm getting here something about like taking courage and leap of faith. Somebody here really needs to be confident. Okay? No, I'm sorry, Athana. I'm sorry. Because if I pull for you, then I have to pull for everybody else. But guess what? Feel free to check out the playlist portion of this channel. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But feel free to check out the playlist portion of this channel where you will find all of the readings, and they're timeless. So, you can even close your eyes and do this and then click on it, and then there may be a message in there for you that you may have some clarity in, okay? But I will at the end do a closing energy, and where I do the spinny spin. And so if it just so happens, if it lands on a career, because it's career related, right? Your exam and stuff. If it lands in career, you never know. You'll get your answer. So feel free to stay until the end for that. Or wait until, just listen in. You'll know. Okay? Yes, thank you. And I appreciate the politeness. I appreciate that, okay? And so, thank you, Tanisa. Tanisa wrote, listen to your sign, as always feels personal. Thank you. Athana wrote, you're so cute. Thank you. So sweet, so sweet. But yeah, I tap into the energies, and so even regardless of the signs, um, there may be a message in there for you. Okay. All right. So the advice here is make sure, yeah, if somebody here is doing like self-sabotaging behaviors, that needs to be healed and addressed so that they can move confidently towards their goal, in a sense, towards their dream. Okay. Libra. Oh, Libra. You know, I was getting this theme. There's some sort of like love, like a new, like a new chance or an opportunity, like that kind of energy that I've been feeling. So for Libra, what I see here is there's going to be like a new beginning, new opportunity. So perhaps like somebody goes on a first date, or like there's a new relationship that is going to blossom, etc. And I see here getting to this point wasn't easy. There was a lot of like illusions and obstacles and possibilities, and on to, and to top it off, oh wow, I thought I wrote I just got into a new relationship today morning. Oh, congratulations. Yeah, feel free to check out the shorts I posted yesterday. I think the title was Single. Was it? Let me just look it up really quick. What did I title that? Oh, it was Single, Not for Long. And I posted that literally, yeah, like last night or something like that. Yeah, so, oh, it's no coincidence you're in here. No coincidence. Yeah. So I do sense here that somebody is growing up. Okay, they're no longer like entertaining illusions. Somebody here is really trying to stand in their power, because standing in their power, being respectful of themselves and others, and being disciplined, that is so attractive. Like somebody here is realizing having self-worth, self-respect, upholding healthy boundaries is attractive, because not everybody is like that. It's actually hard to come by to somebody who taps into that energy. It is so attractive when somebody here is like very clear, doesn't play games, is direct. And on top of that, if they're a open and honest communicator, woo, we got ourselves a catch. Like somebody here is leveling up. Somebody here is leveling up. Aw, okay. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. Okay. So what's the blessings, final blessings that we need to know? Yeah, it's like it's talking about as soon as somebody here has walked away from drama. Okay, somebody here had a tendency to attract drama or be in dramatic situations that could have been prevented. That could have been prevented, but perhaps they like stayed around. Just they stayed around, even though they know they needed to go, like, but they kept realizing that the longer they stayed, the more sad and depressed they were, and somebody here knew that they really deserve love and happiness. And so if somebody here has been hurt, they've been heartbroken, it's talking about how being single in a very single or independent energy is going to be very rewarding, because somebody here is actually going to have the time and focus to work on themselves, work on their finances, their stability, and that is also a contribution towards this attractiveness, okay, being a person of value. Advice? So the advice here is, so somebody here, they feel like they don't make enough, or they wish they had a little bit more money. Okay, I do see that. But it's saying you're doing a great job. Somebody here is doing a great job, and it's because they are, like, for an example, when they show up to work, you can tell that, like, they care. Somebody here cares about doing a good job and showing up and being accountable, and because this energy understands that honey attracts bees, like that kind of analogy of like being a sweet person and doing the right thing and being there, like it's going to work in their favor. It's going to work in their favor. And so it's just like being a good person, doing the right thing, it has so many benefits. So many benefits. And this person is realizing that. Okay, so it's saying continue to do that, continue to live in truth. Okay. Scorpios. All right, Scorpios. It's talking about some sort of like finance. This is like work related. So I'm getting like drama at work. It's like somebody here is like they want to share their voice and like what's on their mind and their opinion so much, it's conflicting. Like I'm getting this energy of like everybody is trying to talk at once, like they all want to be alphas of the group, so to speak, and so there's a lot of ego at play. And I'm also getting, be careful who you trust. Okay, somebody here may just be nice just to form some sort of like camaraderie, like some sort of like team, like click, making it clicky, you know. But they don't have the best interest. Like they're only doing it because they're out for themselves. So somebody has to truly understand that work is work. Okay, if somebody from work is trying to be your friend, buddy, be all nice, it's because they want to make their workplace or environment. Remember, it doesn't have to be work, but you know, it can fit to whatever situation, or it could be, you know, your school colleagues or what have you, or like family dynamics. But somebody here is like they're trying to create some sort of alliance, like some sort of clique, and so that it will benefit them in their work. But I'm also getting it's so that the other person can do their work for them. Okay. So it's like somebody here is really taking advantage and all of that. So the recommendation here is, again, create that distinction. just because they're nice and stuff like that. Like I do some sort of like, I don't want to say ulterior motives, but it's just like at the end of the day, you know, they will push and shove others to get what they want. And so somebody here needs to be very clear and be protective. Like do not let them into your personal life, okay? Because they will use it against you. Oh, I don't wanna, I don't as much as, you know, it sucks relaying, you know, that kind of information, but I do it because, you know, if it can help somebody, then I need to say it. I need to say it. And so just be mindful of that. Just be careful of what you share, because I'm getting this very gossipy energy as well. And the last thing you want is to confide in someone and like let your guards down only for them to use it against you, and not only use it against you but tell others lies so that others will discredit and discount this individual and instead make them be on their side. It's just very strategic bullshit that I'm picking up, and it has to do with the fact that there is some sort of mental problems going on with this person. Okay, this very like these toxic energies, and you know, I have both sides listening in, so you'll know which sides you were on, and so um, but what's the blessings? Blessings. Okay. There's, even though there's a lot of like wolves in sheep's clothing is what I'm getting here. There's going to be, that doesn't mean don't trust anybody, but I do sense there is a support system. There is a support system. And so this could either be, you know, your significant other or the person that you love, or it could be your dependents or something, or like somebody that you can trust, okay? I do sense here. So even though there may be some like disagreements and things that doesn't like work out in this person's favor, I do sense here that they are going to be protected, and luck is on their side. Because remember, God, like if you have good karma, if you're good with God, that you will, like unbelievable, amazing things will happen. Like luck is going to come. Things will start happening just effortlessly, and things will come together. And so it's saying do not lose sight of the positives in your life. Just make sure you know how to compartmentalize. What's the like the final advice? Oh, there you are. There is so because there's a lot of like drama going on, somebody here is neglecting their special someone, okay? Whether that is your significant other or like family member, something like that. So don't neglect them, okay? Don't neglect them. Make them feel like, you know, they're heard and understood and not ignored. Because you know, as much as they want to be there for you and be like a rock and stuff like that, it takes two. It takes two to be in a connection, right? And so just make sure that you make them feel valued, and um, don't forget them, okay? Don't forget them. That's the advice, okay? All right, so let's just organize. Sagittarius. Sagittarius. What do we have? What do we have? One more. All right. So, okay, what I do like is that somebody here is, I mean, it's a double-edged sword, but I'm seeing it, it's more beneficial at this time. But I do sense here somebody is very protective of their energy, their heart. Um, and it's like, it's because they have worked so hard. They really want somebody to reciprocate, match their energy. They want like their equal in a sense, or like somebody that complements them. And so I sense here that there was a lot of like healing energy, like somebody here really secluded themselves. Hello, Emily. So somebody really like secluded themselves and was trying to release burden. So I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, if this hasn't already been done, I'd recommend, if there's anything that is like old, outdated, that is just like doesn't even have like great energies around it, it needs to be tossed out. Okay, it needs to be tossed out so that we can make room for more blessings and abundance. And I see that it is happening, because I do see like it's gonna be a very productive summer, but it's not going to be like too busy. Okay. Oh. Hello, Mark. Well, this is the second time I have tuned in. You are magnificent. You got it. Oh, thank you. That is so sweet. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, I'm glad you heard your intuition and decided to click on this one. All right. So I am sensing a fresh new beginning, okay, a fresh new start. And even though there is a lot of like uncertainties, like somebody here isn't sure what's going to happen next week, like somebody here is just kind of trying to live in the moment. And because I'm getting some level of like either like anxiety or depression or something like that if they focus too much on the future, because it's just like it hasn't even come in, but somebody here is just like, so they're trying very hard to not do that. They're trying to live in the present moment. And for those of you who needed to hear that this is your like green light to do that. Okay, so for those of you who are like in that energy, that is a way to prevent yourself from overthinking things. Okay, trying to live in the moment. What can you do today? What can you do now to help shape that future that you want to head towards? But I do sense some sort of like love. Okay, but I will say this: the this person, like, they do have some level of history. I will say, but they want to start something new with this individual. But God wants to emphasize, okay? I see here they have some strong red flags. Strong red flags. Like even though there may have been chemistry and memories that were created, and there could have been a lot of care within the connection, but somebody here, like God exposed them for who they are. They they had some deceptive ways, and so God just wants to emphasize, do not forget that. Like even though there is this essence of wanting to start new, wanting to start fresh, um the truth is they haven't changed. They're still the same kind of person. Like um, and finances could have affected this connection as well. So what is the blessings? Okay, what's the blessings? Well, I see here there's going to be an emotionally fulfilling time. Okay. I also sense there may be like younger family members or those that like you consider like family. I'm getting like there's a lot of like good times that is going to be had. And the reason why this energy is able to spend more time with those that are emotionally fulfilling instead of being a black hole is because they really have rejected low vibrational behaviors from others. It's real. And when they do that, when they like stand their ground and is willing to say no to those who are toxic, it creates a sense of peace and ease, and the anxiety and depression and overthinking starts to quiet down because instead of depending on others to find happiness and fulfillment, this energy is focusing on their self worth and value. And so when we decide to focus on that, the anxiety, the uncertainties, the anxiousness, it quiets down. It really quiets down. And so I'm getting like somebody here is actually going to be able to sleep soundly at night, like finally. And so it just keeps talking about like just make sure that the boundaries and the standards, I'm not even talking about like high, like super high unreachable standards. I'm not even talking about that. It's just basic, common standards for for others and for ourselves is really going to help build that foundation so that our mind doesn't wander off, because when we have a home base where we feel safe and we know that we can always come back to, that home base should be us. Okay, it shouldn't be people, places, or things. It should be us and our connection with God. Okay, and so if when that is firm and secure, everything else doesn't, everything becomes, not to say less important, but they can't have that harsh effect on us. They can't rock our worlds to the point where it's damaging us. Okay, and so final advice. Yeah, it's the same message pretty much, don't be afraid to uphold that boundary, know your worth, and taking action to enforce those healthy boundaries. And if those, that you still want to have in your life, if they are not changing like this person for the better, if they're not evolving and growing, then they're not a true match. Like sure, they could have had, wonderful fond memories in the past, and they may have been a lot of laughter and fun and all of that, but those memories are for you to keep. Those memories are for you to keep. But don't forget the truth that has surfaced, which was that they were also a deceptive person, okay? And so if they are still a deceptive person and they haven't changed their ways, that experience may also repeat. So just be mindful, protect yourself, uphold boundaries, and show yourself respect as well, to not be just like dragged along like a rag doll, okay? Like, no. You, like, somebody here knows that they are powerful, okay? That they're powerful, and I sense like they have a confidence. They do have a confidence, like they do. But I do see her, there was somebody that really broke or like tried to break it. But God is saying, remember, just stay focused, okay? And it's okay to take your time to do this, okay? You don't have to feel like, oh, like you need to like jump into the next thing, or yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like if somebody here has no choice but to talk to them because like they're obligated to, obviously just keep it cordial. Like don't like create that boundary. Don't let them pass it. Don't let it pass it. Because they as much as like the person who's like resonating with this is growing and evolving and stuff like that, they're not doing the work. Okay. 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 So let's move on to Capricorn. Capricorn. Yep. Oh, this wanted to come up. Okay, so Capricorn, I do sense some sort of ending. Okay, like, and this is like a devastating ending that I'm picking up, and so this is something that somebody here was trying to bear. Like they were trying to like they were trying to be like, oh, like they can handle it, like I can handle it, like uh, they were trying to go as long as they can. But the thing about that is like it wasn't meant for them. It wasn't meant for them. So I'm getting somebody here who was just trying to like drag their feet and like trying to give it one last chance, one more opportunity after countless opportunities, and then it just kind of finally snapped. Something finally snapped, and I will say it was divine intervention. God came in and was just like, no more. Mm-mm. So I do sense some sort of like devastating, can never go back to this connection, never repeat it with them, like closing of a chapter, closing of a cycle, that kind of energy. And so, uh, and it had to do with the fact that somebody here was being manipulative. There's also this energy of like somebody went out of town, or there was some sort of distance that was created, and they found out that like they were being giving to somebody else, so there was disloyalty. Okay, somebody here was disloyal while they were away, and it was something that could no longer be ignored, because to turn a blind eye, even though all the signs were there, the evidence was there, and all of that, like somebody could no longer turn their back to a toxic behavior. So, what is like the blessing? Blessing. Why do we need to know? So the blessing here is that somebody here is being tested, okay? Like God wants to know how much is this person willing to put up a fight for self-sabotaging behaviors, okay? So God really just like kind of flipped the perspective, and this energy was able to see things in a different light, so that they can truly see the problem, like what the problem was, what needs to be worked on, and if there were any like self-sabotaging behaviors that they're able to fight it off. Like instead of, I'm getting somebody who has a tendency to be agreeable, or like is even though it's doesn't feel right, but they were trying to make it work because they wanted to be successful in whichever area this is outlining. But the blessing here is, once this energy finds like a understands the different perspective, they are going to attract what's actually meant for them. But yeah, it must be tonight's theme is, if there are any loose ends, third party energies, if somebody is still talking to their ex or what have you, or keeping in touch or whatever, that needs to stop. That needs to stop, because how are you going to start something new if somebody here is still holding on to all that? So, final message. The final advice here is, it's saying don't be afraid to be single, or to be alone, so that this energy can find and work on their independence, work on their money. Because I see here, it's almost like karma. What do they say? The best revenge is success. So somebody here resonates with that. And it's like, if somebody broke somebody's heart because of lying, cheating, deceitful ways, etc., I see here God is trying to rebalance the situation by at least having the work, money, career, that area is going to blossom and flourish, is what I'm seeing here. And so the advice here is, if whoever hurt you in the past comes back, I see here is because they don't want to miss out on all the abundance that this energy is accumulating. Like they just feel like, oh no, they're succeeding, they're doing well, they're flourishing. And so if somebody comes back because they see how well this energy is doing, just be mindful. Don't forget what they have done. Okay? Don't forget what they have done. And somebody here needs to have inner strength and courage to not let others mess with their sanity. Like, it's just like, yeah, I'm getting block them. Okay? Block them. Or like make sure they don't have access to you. Okay. Aquarius. Aquarius. Oh. Aquarius. So what I'm getting here is that there's some level of stagnancy, and the reason why is because somebody here is connecting with somebody that is just very like online based. So perhaps like they only talk to each other online. Like there's somebody here is not able to take it to the next step. They're kind of stuck in just the digital world is what I'm seeing here. And so even though this energy wants to kind of like, they want to be a little bit more certain of where things will be heading into the future. What I'm getting here is that this energy plays too many games. Okay, it's just like they always try. They have like a control problem. Like they always want to be in control. They always want to dictate what's going to happen, and to top it all off, they have a player-like mentality. And so for them, they just kind of feel like they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, because they have the sense of entitlement. But guess what? They realize that their behavior, their actions, it is creating more problems than solutions. Okay, and so they realize that if they want to, succeed and be fruitful and more abundant, they really need to eliminate this limiting belief and behavior. And this, they got to understand it's something needs to shift and change up here for there to be actual results. Once that happens, I see that there's going to be more happier times, more fun times, and they themselves will almost have like this weight off their shoulders. What's like the blessings coming in? Yeah, wow. So so when somebody here stop playing games and is more honest, they are going to attract happiness and abundance into their life. It's going to be somebody that they have been physically attracted to. Like this person is very attractive, very emotionally giving and kind, and I'm getting the sense of like somebody here feels like a kid at heart or something like that. They really find themselves just like having fun. But as mentioned, just remember, you know, the pretending to be somebody they're not, that really needs to go. Okay, because if there's like an ounce of that, like lying, deceit, ulterior motives, that kind of energy, they will be rejected. It's so funny, like this entire stream, it has like similar messages. So what's the final advice? I'm getting something about temptation, like lustful energy. So if somebody here is utilizing their looks and like being flirtatiousness, like being flirtatious, The games needs to stop. That's the main thing. That's the advice, because the games, the lustfulness, that's very fleeting, and it may look good, you know, for outside people looking in, and they'll just be like, ooh, like, who are they talking to? Ooh, they're hot. Like, it's like it gives off that energy, but it's like, if somebody here is truly looking for love, they shouldn't be in a connection because whoever they're with impresses others. No, no. Okay? Somebody here, if they want true, genuine love, they need to just love the person for who they are, not because of what other people thinks of this person. Okay, that, because that is just a recipe for disaster when we start focusing on other people's validations regarding the connection, etc., because it's just like, who are we trying to impress? Okay, so let's move on to Pisces. Pisces, there you are. So Pisces, what's this? So I am getting some sort of like romance. I am getting romance. There is some sort of like love or commitment. Somebody here wants to build a family. Like, they want to like get married and like settle down, like that kind of energy. They want a long-term commitment. And I'm getting, this person used to be very like down and depressed and wondering, when is this going to happen? And I see here somebody took action, even though it was like a long time coming, or it was like slow progress, etc. But I see here somebody actually did take action. And when they stopped being indecisive, you know, teeter-tottering about what they should do, but instead, you know, go with their gut instincts, their intuition, and just go for it. Somebody here who was just kind of putting love in the back burner, they're going to have the opportunity to be in something committed. Okay, what is the additional blessings? Like, what's the blessings message? Oh, there you are. Okay. Hey, Nancy. Yeah, I remember you. You were asking me, oh, are you going to go live tomorrow? And then I was like, just for you, Nancy. And then I went live the next day and you didn't even show up. So yeah, I remember you. And you had a cousin named Sebastian who was also watching. Yeah, I remember you. So, what? Oh, no excuses, Dancy. No excuses. But you know, it's nice to hear from you. I'm glad you came back. Okay, I'm glad. But next time, you know, next time, no. Okay. So the final blessing here is, yeah, somebody here actually got confidence. They started to not be stagnant anymore and decided to honor their feelings and emotions. And so I sense here there's going to be a new beginning. Oh my gosh, a new beginning, new love. uh, an emotional fulfillment. Okay, emotional fulfillment. And you may be connecting with a strong earth energy coming through. So they could have Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn in their sun, moon, rising, or Venus. Or somebody who just embodies this person of value, and they may be like really good with money, or it's just like, you know, they're not flaky. They're very like grounded, and they'll show up. It's that kind of energy. And so what's the final advice? It's saying somebody here like took a long time. Okay, cool, Nancy, cool. So the advice here is somebody here really tried to buy their time. Like it was kind of like a long time coming kind of thing. And it's saying like, if somebody here knows that this person is the one, you know, somebody here is dealing with somebody that like they know that they met the person, they're the one, and it's just like, why wait? It's saying, why wait? And so I have a feeling, okay, first, the recommendation here is have that open and honest communication. You know, even just put your heart on the line. Somebody here needs to really like be communicative about what they want, where things stand. And once that is established, I see here that things are going to move quickly, very quickly. Okay, a little side note, because I see here some, I don't want to say self-sabotage, but somebody here has a tendency to kind of like be into depression kind of thing. Oh, okay, Nancy. Oh, let us see. And yeah, somebody has a tendency to just like be in depression kind of energy. And so even though like things may go well, but if there's like one moment where there's like a slight stagnancy, this person has a tendency to just be like, oh my, you know, all is over. Oh, they don't want me anymore. Oh my gosh. And like things are out of limbo. So somebody here is just being a little, you know, I mean, I can see why. They just don't want to be hurt. Okay, I see why. But it's just like, don't necessarily think about what they say, but what they do. Are they there for this individual? You know? When you need them, are they going to show up? That says a lot. It's not just, oh yeah, like, you know, let's meet here, do this and that, and it's just like, are they showing up? Are they open and communicative? Are they being respectful? If they are, you know, showing you all of these things, showing this energy, all of these things, then maybe they can be trusted, you know? So it really, don't just trust what they say, but what they do, okay? All right. Let's go ahead and we'll do the spinny spin as the closing message. As the closing message. All right. All right. It's time for the spinny spin portion. And a 1. Any final messages? Closing messages? 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a career. We called it earlier, right? Athana? Athana? Right? I was just like, oh, maybe we'll get the career later. And here it is. Okay. What's the career messages coming through? Okay. Okay, so what I'm getting here, so when it comes to like career and finances, it's been a little rough. I can see, like I see here, there has been, you know, whether that's career, finance, studies, like that area of your life. I see here it's been a challenge. It's been a slow time coming. There, slow, stagnant, lack of progression, lack of momentum. Or if there is some level of success, it's very like little or minor, or it's not leaps and bounds of, you know, results. And I see here that, so currently somebody here is in this kind of like self-pitying energy. So they just kind of feel like, oh, you know, I'm trying, I'm doing what I can, but why isn't things working out? And I see here the reason why it's not working out is because somebody here is not really doing the work. Okay, they're not really doing the work. They're just half. They're not giving it 110%. Okay, it's almost as if like, you know, they're not really even doing anything, and they're just like, how come it's not working out? How come it's not progressing? Or how come there's no great results? And it's because somebody here really needs to dedicate themselves. Because if there is no dedication, no focus, no discipline, and also somebody here needs to be good with God. Like there's something about they're also not on a spiritual path. So I do sense some level of distraction. So it's just like, oh, somebody here is like distracting themselves and stuff, and they're wondering, oh, how come, like, you know, things are not working out? Well, they're not going to work out on their own. Like there needs to be some level of effort that is put in, and you know, and so if somebody here doesn't take this seriously, if they don't really give it all they got, you know, giving it like 110% of their effort. I'm not saying, you know, don't put yourself into a situation where there's an imbalance where you're just like, you know, so focused on this area of your life you're neglecting everything else. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know, if you're gonna go for it. Like don't give it your best, give it your all, and see where things go. But what I am seeing here is that somebody didn't put in 110%, and the results are going to speak for itself. So if somebody here has been hoping that they are going to have a fresh new beginning, fresh new start, that they really need to put in the work, and there needs to be some level of focus instead of distracting oneself. Anything else? Yeah, it's exactly what I just said. Something about like being focused and not um, distracting oneself. I'm getting almost like a fantasy energy too. So there may have been incidences where, like, let's for an example, somebody like looks to others for inspiration and see, how did others become successful, right? And it's like the people that are being who has had some level of success and etc. The thing about them is they're not really sharing the challenges that they have faced. Like they make it seem kind of easy, as if like, oh, I just created this empire just willy nilly. But that's not the case, Like they're trying to paint this picture for others, and so somebody here is like, oh, that's what success looks like. Oh, that's how we get successful. Like, oh, it's just supposed to come easily. No, that's a lie and a fantasy that somebody here has shared and somebody here retained, thinking that that is what actually happens. But that's smoke and mirrors, okay? What the reality is that sometimes it gets very hard. You feel like the lowest before it gets good. So it's kind of giving off. It's the darkest before dawn. It's the worst. It's the lowest point you will get before things actually skyrocket in a sense. Okay, and and the reason why that is happening, okay, where it just kind of feels like God is putting us in a very low place before we take off, is because we are truly supposed to realize and see what in our life is of value. So somebody here may have had a tendency in the past, like when money was flowing, money was good, they would spend it on things, people, places, and things that didn't even really matter. They were spending for the sake of spending, or like it's like they didn't need to spend, you know, spend money on this, but they did because they had it. Or like it's I'm also getting it was also a protection kind of thing. It was also a protection kind of thing because somebody, like for an example, if somebody here was trying to find a relationship or a romantic interest or even friendship, it doesn't matter, any area of your life, but if, let's say, those other energies, they were only in this person's life because things were going well for them, things were, they were abundant, and like they're all of that. And then, and when all of that abundance and there's challenges and the difficulties that come up, this energy really gets to see who was actually there for them, not because of their money, their status, their social status, their schooling, whatever it is, that they were in it. So God was truly trying to put into perspective, like, and also I'm getting I'm getting the word gold digger, okay? So if somebody here feels like their finances wasn't as good as before, I see here that it was because in the past there were gold diggers, okay? People who were just um, preying on PREA, not PRAY, but praying. So like it's like, somebody here was trying to see, like, is this person of value so that they can piggyback off of their success and their abundance. And so God, if somebody here feels like they were at like the top of the world, and feeling good, and they had everything and they felt secure, and then but currently or at this time they feel like things are very It's the opposite of that. They feel like they don't have enough, and money isn't as good, or they feel like lack of security. It really also shines light on who was there just for the money, just for the status, who was just there because they were gold diggers, okay? And so it is a blessing in disguise. So for those of you who are wondering, like, oh, why is this happening and all of that, it's because they were supposed to cut people out of their life. Yeah. So what's the advice? See, the thing about, hello, Canon. So the thing about, um, success, money, all of that, it can come and go, okay? Just because somebody here is not where they used to be or where they want to be, that doesn't mean they're going to be stuck there forever. If they're where there's a will, there's a way, right? And so it's saying keep at it, keep going. And the silver lining here, as mentioned, if somebody here is at a low place and they know that they have so much potential for greatness, for success, and all of that, and for abundance, but just not at this very moment, the silver lining here is because God was trying to bring truth and light to people, places, or things that was just using this energy. Okay? So I see that, a lot of people, energies, behaviors is going to be cut out. And once that happens, once those holes within the foundation are filled, addressed, healed, then we can actually focus on our abundance. Okay? Yeah. Look at that. So God wants to encourage you guys are, doing your thing. Don't feel like if there are any stagnancy that it's going to be like that forever. No, you keep on going. You keep on going, okay? And if there are other people, obstacles standing in this energy's way, it's just like, okay, I'm getting devilish energy. So if there are any obstacles, okay, immaturity, false promises, fantasy. If somebody here is trying to bring about illusion so that there is a pause from progression, that is also needs to be cleared. Okay? Do not entertain wolf in sheep's clothing. Wolves, more than one. Okay? Do not be fooled. Look at that. That is so beautiful. Anything else? Oh my god. What the? So when all of those toxic energies, whether that's people, places, things, behaviors, mindsets, all of that, when all of those are let go, released, cut off, moved on from, healed from, oh my goodness, there's gonna be this like very strong connection where it involves like reciprocity. It's healthy. There's a lot of love. And this may be somebody that you marry or is going to have some level of higher commitment with. But there is reciprocation, because when both parties, not just one person, not just one side, if both parties have done the work, if both parties have eliminated their distractions and toxic ways and behaviors, and clear their surroundings, okay, put themselves in a place where they're just grounded and they're able to focus on things that truly matter. Oh my gosh, the blessings. Oh my gosh. I was a little like, oh, should I just pull more cards? Like, what if like bad cards come up? And no, it's good cards, you guys. You guys. So don't give up. Okay, stay focused. I sense here that somebody, they did have a little bit of like a uh self-worth issue, because if their finances or career or studies isn't going well, but it's saying keep going, keep going, because I see here, like, I see love coming in, like true genuine love, where both people have done the work and have eliminated and really put themselves in a situation and surroundings that is going to be able to invite these blessings and love and connections, where it's authentic and true. Beautiful. Anything else, God? Nope. That is it. That is it. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click on the notification bell if you would like to be notified of when I go live or post new content. All right, so, and feel free to check out the playlist portion of this channel, where you will find all of your readings from your tarot today, monthly, and yearly as well. All right, thank you, Tonisa. Thank you. And for everybody who tuned in and sent wonderful comments, I appreciate you guys. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.